Welcome to another episode of Oxygen. Tonight, we're going to cover the story of your very own Young Thug, SLATT, Slime, YSL. Let's get it. Help us grow the channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe so you get notified when we drop all new videos. Jeffrey Lamar Williams, born August 16, 1991, known as Young Thug. Young Thugger was born in Atlanta, Georgia. He was the 10th of 11 children. He was from Sylvan Hills. That's a neighborhood in Atlanta, Georgia, Zone 3. He grew up in the Jonesboro South Projects. Other known rappers from the neighborhood: Waka Flocka Flame, 2 Chainz, Luda, and Williams, Young Thugger's childhood friend, Pee Wee Longway. Young Thugger's story begins when he was young. He's been told in multiple interviews that he was expelled in the 6th grade. And this was for breaking a teacher's arm. For that incident, he was sent to juvenile prison for 4 years. And this is where it all began. Young Thugger began his music career in 2010, starring as a guest appearance on the rapper's True Royal song, She Can Go. During this time, he released his first 3 installments of his mixtapes, I Came From Nothing. This ran through 2011, 2012. By this time, Young Thug caught the attention of the Atlanta rapper Gucci Mane, who went on to sign Young Thug to his very first deal. He was signed to 1017 Brick Squad Records. Young Thug's first project with Gucci Mane's label, 1017 Thug. The mixtape was met with positive reviews through everybody in and out of the city. While signed with Gucci, he would go out and put out multiple mixtapes, which would hit charts, top 10s, top 50s, the Rolling Stones, you name it, he was on an uprise. Young Thug's song, Pacho, was included on a number of 2013 year-end lists, such as the Rolling Stones 100 Best Rap Songs. He later then topped out on the top 10 100 tracks of 2013. As well, Spins put him out for the 50 best songs of 2013. Moving into July 2013, Complex included him in their list of the 25 newest rappers to watch out for. This is when Young Thug released his first commercial single, Stoner. This song would hit number 1 in days, with several rappers including Whale, Jim Jones, Jadakiss, Trick, and a few others would hop on the track. During this time, Thug expressed his disapproval for the mixtapes, commenting, "If you feel like my song isn't tough enough to the point where you have to freestyle, don't think I'm happy that you're doing it because who you are. You better believe that I'm ready for war," says Young Thug. Moving into 2014, this is where the rise of his popularity and issues with his label would come into play. In January of 14, Young Thug revealed that he had been offered an $8.5 million deal to sign to Future's Free Band's record label. In March of 14, Young Thug's affiliation with Cash Money Records and its chief executive officer, Birdman, resulted in much speculation in the media about him signing to the label. And during this time, the label's publicist later stated that it was all rumors, that none of it was true. Moving on to March 28, Ronald Caveman Rosario. He was the director of the urban music at 1017 and in charge of distribution. He cleared the situation out, stated that Young Thug signed a management deal with Birdman's Rich Gang, and it's not a record deal, and is still signed to 1017 Brick Squad, which is Gucci Mane. Staying in the year 2014, Young Thugger also recorded several songs with Kanye West, Rich Homie Quan, Chief Keef, and many others. And you gotta think, when Young Thug first came out, if you've heard of the rapper Rich Homie Quan and Rich Gang, this was originally the group that everybody become to know Young Thug as. As we move on to June 17th of 2014, Kevin Liles, he confirmed that Young Thug had officially been signed to his label, 300 Entertainment. This was huge for Young Thug. 2013, his fan favorite song, Danny Glover, reached #1 billboards everywhere. Young Thug, alongside fellow rappers A$AP Ferg and Freddie Gibbs, the first single they put out, you know what it is, you know what it was, Bloody J. Alright, now moving into 2015. You know, originally, Young Thug had connections with Birdman. Okay? We all know Birdman and Lil Wayne come up with Cash Money. During this time, it's been known for Young Thug to be in interviews and tell everybody that one of his biggest inspirations was none other than Lil Wayne. Young Thug listened to Lil Wayne as he grew up, liked his music, and now he was working with Birdman, so everybody assumed that everything would be all good. They would do songs together, and they would make hits and make a lot of money. But this was not the case. During this time, Lil Wayne, this huge superstar, putting out multiple albums, one only, The Carter 6, which was one of his biggest albums to date. Young Thug, being a fan, was going to pay homage to Lil Wayne while he was producing his album coming out, which he named it The Barter 6. As soon as Lil Wayne got word of what was going on, he did not like it. He felt there was something going on behind the scenes, and he didn't want to be a part of it. So he publicly announced that he wasn't a fan. He didn't like the music, he didn't like what it stood for, he didn't want to be a part of it. This would not go well. Birdman, Young Thug, did not accept what Lil Wayne did on a public platform. They felt themselves, if there was issues within, somebody should have reached out and had a conversation. But this led to the internet jumping in and taking sides. Half of them were going for Young Thug. The other half loved Lil Wayne. And we all know what it would lead up to. And in multiple interviews, Young Thug spoke out about meeting Lil Wayne while appearing on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. He said, "Man, that ninja The first day that ninja didn't dap me up, I felt like he tried me. He tried my pimping. I'm like, my feet hurt, because I'm a real stepper. Don't do me like that. I was paying homage to you, but Lil Wayne, in my opinion, left me hanging, and I didn't like that. And just like that, off the rip, this is when they begin to have issues. Who knows if it was intentional? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But a young up-and-coming rapper looking up to somebody like Lil Wayne, and I guess Lil Wayne thought he was playing games, so he left him hanging. This would not sit well with Young Thug. And after speaking with Lil Wayne, he come out on Drink Champs. And Lil Wayne said, there was mutual respect between both of us. Wayne said, when Thugger's Barter 6 titled album came out, to me, it looked like total disrespect. When we talk personally, he's got nothing but respect for me. But he says no more words to me after that. It lets me know how much respect he has for me. And he's a fan of my music. And everyone knew that the beef wasn't squashed. They wanted it out of the public's eye, but there was still bad blood. And around the time, 2015, Lil Wayne's tour bus got shot up while he was supposed to be performing in Atlanta, Georgia. Some say YSL was involved. YSL being Young Thug. During their investigation, it came out that a YSL member, Jimmy Winfrey, was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and that he was sent by Young Thug. This case would still go unsolved, but it's not over. That incident would set off a string of killings in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, Young Thug has got a name. It's built up. YSL, Young Slime Life. During this time, YSL and YFN Lucci. A little backstory. YFN Lucci is another up-and-coming rapper out of Atlanta, Georgia. At one point in time, Young Thug, Lucci, Big Nut, Lil Woody, Gunner, and so on, they all used to be SMN. This was one group where they all wanted the same thing. They wanted to make music, make money, and represent for their hood. So, during this time, everybody's wanting to blow up. Young Thug has got people in his ear. YFN, Lucci, has got others in his ear. But the glue to all this was Big Nut. Big Nut was the big homie that kept everything at peace. Some say there was a misunderstanding. YSL members went out and actually robbed some boys from the other side. And again, all this is alleged. So, that being said, YFN, they didn't like it. They didn't sit well. Young Thug wasn't even the one that actually went and did it, but it was some of his affiliates. So, when that happens, you're brought into the mix. Period. So during this time, YFN, they just ain't gonna sit back and let it happen, so they wind up going after him. There's been reports of multiple shootings, alleged robberies, high-speed chases. It goes back and forth for months. Atlanta PD is on it. They're watching both sets, and they're watching them hard. So during this time, the one man that could have stopped everything, Big Nut, winds up getting killed. When Big Nut gets killed, Atlanta turns into a war zone. It is officially YSL versus YFN. And they're not going to stop until both parties, both sides, are laid to rest. So this brings us into the war of YSL versus YFN. While doing research on this deadly street war, the district attorney says there's at least 50 shootings and murders that lead back to YSL and YFN between Young Thug and Lucci's gang. Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Williams says that there's evidence regarding the criminal activity of YSL, which is Young Slime Life, and their street war with YFN, which is Young Fly Ninja. And other gangs in the area are extremely significant to both gangs. And like we said, DA Fannie Willis said that this gang war exploded when several shootings took place, but the most significant murder was Donovan Thomas, known as Big Nut. Once that killing took place, officers say that Young Thug allegedly rented a used car in use of Donovan Thomas, Big Nut's murder, and 56 count racketeering indictment against 28 members of the YSL gang. YFN Lucci, who's been locked up since April of 21, with charges of murder, felony assault, racketeering, and other crimes, and a 105 count indictment. It is believed that Big Nut's murder in January of 2015 is what set the tension off between YFN and YSL over the edge. DA Fannie Willis says, 2015, myself and law enforcement personnel can tell you, as a result of the back and forth gun violence and murders that have occurred, there's been possibly over 50 killings since 2015. And all this is triggered back and forth between YSL and YFN. Period. With that being said, this brings us up to date. And right now, Young Thug and YSL are in a Rico case, which has been going on for a few months now. And it's probably going to be going on for another year or so. But this tells you, with this YSL Rico case, snitches are coming out. Some of your day ones, Gunner, Little Woody, Unfunk, Quay, and multiple more have signed plea deals, have turned state's evidence on YSL as a gang and against Young Thug. And remember, during this time, YFN Lucci has been incarcerated on multiple charges stemming from murder to assault to trafficking. During his time incarcerated, he was almost killed. Somebody set out a plan to take his life. YFN Lucci was stabbed up in Atlanta prison, which he has made a full recovery, but prosecutors are leaning towards Young Thug as he sent the hit to take his life. As this story continues, there's going to be a part 2. But as of a few weeks ago, new footage has come out of YSL Woody. He's been caught on camera in the interrogation room with 2 police officers trying to make deals, trying to get his time cut. It shows him wanting to be put in witness protection. He wants to get out of Atlanta, Georgia. And he's telling. He's telling of murders, getaway cars, types of guns, and who's involved. And this is YSL Woody, one of the co-founders of the YSL street gang, alleged, as Young Thug and YSL members would say, it's a music label. They're not a gang. It's a brotherhood that was started to make music. The DA, Fannie Willis, says otherwise. She states YSL is a street gang. Young Thug sits at the head of the table, and he's calling the shots. He's calling the plays. And she will not rest until he is put away for life. Hey, thanks for watching. This is part 1 of the YSL Young Thugger story. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, leave me your comments. Help me get the channel up and running. If you like the content, if you like the videos, please hit the subscribe, hit the like button, and leave your comments. Who should we cover next? We want to hear your voice. Stay tuned. Hit the bell notification, because YSL, YFN, Street War, Part 2 is coming soon. Hey, y'all have a good night. Thanks for watching. Until next time, this is Oxygen.